Everyone knows Lisa the performer, the record-breaking solo artist, the Celine campaign face, the woman who just sold out a Las Vegas residency before it even opened. But away from all of that, she's quietly built one of the most unexpected friend circles in entertainment, spanning rival K-pop groups, Hollywood film sets, and the biggest names in global fashion. Some of these friendships go back further than her fame does. Some started on a film set, and one of them might genuinely surprise you. Let's get into who Lisa really surrounds herself with. When you're one of the most followed entertainers on the planet, your friendships stop being private by default. Every appearance, every photo, every offhand comment gets picked apart by millions of fans trying to piece together who actually matters in your life. For most celebrities, that circle stays fairly contained. Bandmates, a few co-stars, maybe a childhood friend or two. What makes Lisa's circle worth actually mapping out is how far it spreads. She's got the tight, decade-long bond with her Blackpink sisters. A separate web of friendships with idols from entirely different K-pop groups and labels, some of which started before any of them were famous at all. A newer set of friendships forged on a career she only started a few years ago, acting. And an entire orbit of relationships within the fashion industry that comes with being one of the most in-demand faces in luxury. Most celebrity profiles pick one of these worlds and stop there. What's interesting about Lisa specifically is that none of these circles seem to have replaced the others. She hasn't traded her childhood friends for Hollywood ones, or let her fashion world connections crowd out her K-pop friendships. If anything, all four appear to have simply kept accumulating, layer by layer, as her career expanded into new territory. Four completely different worlds, one person moving fluidly between all of them. Let's start where it all began, with the three women who've known her longest. The inner circle, Jennie, Rose, and Jisoo. Before there was a solo Lisa, there was Blackpink, and whatever else changes in her life, this is the one circle that's never been in question. Jennie, Rose, and Jisoo aren't just bandmates. They're the people who trained alongside her, debuted alongside her in 2016, and have stayed in her corner through nearly a decade of global fame. What's notable about this particular friendship is how it's evolved as each member's individual career has taken off. All four women have built serious solo identities, Jennie with her album Ruby and her role as a Chanel ambassador, Jisoo with her acting career and her own solo music, Rose with a string of massive solo hits, and Lisa with alter ego and her own management company. In theory, that kind of individual success could easily pull a group apart. In practice, they keep showing up for each other. That was never clearer than at the 2026 Met Gala, when all four members attended fashion's biggest night together for the first time in the group's history. Each of them walked the carpet separately, representing their own individual luxury house. Jisoo making her Dior debut, Jennie returning as a longtime Chanel ambassador, Rose in custom Saint Laurent, and Lisa serving on the event's host committee entirely. But once inside, Jennie told reporters on the carpet that seeing her Blackpink girls together again was exactly what she was most looking forward to that night. It's a small detail, but a telling one. Four women, four separate fashion house contracts, four solo careers, and the thing Jennie was most excited about wasn't the dress or the theme. It was simply being back in the same room as the other three. That same pattern shows up throughout their solo eras, not just at award shows. When Jennie performed her own headlining set at Coachella in support of Ruby, and when Lisa returned to that same stage a year later for her alter ego set, both moments were treated by fans less as individual milestones and more as continuations of the same story. Each member cheering the others on from wherever they happened to be, whether that meant showing up in person or simply reposting the moment to millions of followers. There's also something to be said for how differently each of these four women has chosen to define herself outside the group. Jisoo moving into television with her own Netflix series, Rose topping global charts with her solo hits, Jennie balancing music with acting of her own, and Lisa expanding into acting, business, and now a Las Vegas residency. Rather than pulling them apart, that divergence seems to have given the friendship room to breathe. They're no longer just four members of the same group, they're four individually successful women who happen to have started this journey together, and who've made a habit of returning to check in on each other along the way. 2. The Thai Idol Network, Bam Bam, Bang Chan, Minnie, and Ten. Here's where the story gets genuinely interesting, because Lisa's second major friend circle didn't start in K-pop at all. It started years earlier, in Thailand, long before she ever set foot in a Korean trainee dorm. As a kid, Lisa was part of a Thai dance crew called We Za Cool. One of her fellow members was a boy who would go on to debut in GOT7 under a different label entirely, Bam Bam. The two of them have now been friends for more than 2 decades, through Lisa's move to Korea, both of their trainee years, and 2 completely separate, fiercely competitive K-pop careers. In 2020, when Lisa faced a wave of racist comments online about her Thai background, Bam publicly defended his childhood friend without hesitation. And as recently as October 2025, the two were spotted reuniting in Paris during Fashion Week. Hugging and laughing in photos, Bam captioned simply, "Long time no see, my friend," a post that instantly went viral among fans who'd followed their friendship for years. Bam is also the connector who brought several other idols into Lisa's orbit. Stray Kids' Bang Chan has said publicly that he and Lisa have been close since his own trainee days, introduced through their mutual friend Bam, a friendship that stayed visible over the years from Bang Chan. Joining Lisa's Moonlit Floor Dance Challenge in 2024, to Lisa's own mother attending one of Stray Kids' Bangkok concerts that same year, to Lisa showing up to cheer Bang Chan on at a Stray Kids concert of her own. That same social circle extends even further. In a joint interview, Bam and G.I.DLE's Minnie described how their friend group actually formed, recalling a day Lisa invited them both over, then added NCT's 10 into the mix. Bam put it simply, "Lisa is the connector of the group, the one who introduces everyone to everyone else." Minnie backed that up, describing Lisa as a genuine social butterfly behind her cool, composed stage image. 4 different labels, 4 different groups, all technically competitors in the same industry. And at the center of it, one shared, decades-old thread that traces back to a dance studio in Thailand, long before any of them had a stage name at all. What makes this circle particularly unusual is how it cuts against one of K-pop's most persistent stereotypes, that idols from rival companies rarely interact, let alone form genuine friendships, because of how competitive and image-conscious the industry can be. Lisa's Thai idol network is a pretty direct counterexample. Bam is under a different label entirely from Lisa. Bang Chan and Stray Kids operate under JYP Entertainment. Minnie's group, G.I.DLE, is under Cube. Ten's group, NCT, is under SM. 4 separate companies, 4 separate sets of promotional schedules and comeback cycles, and yet the friendships have held steady for years regardless. Part of that likely comes down to shared experience. Several of these idols, Lisa, Bam and Ten in particular, came up as non-Korean trainees inside a system built primarily around Korean artists, often navigating language barriers, cultural adjustment, and homesickness at the same time. Finding each other early, before fame complicated everything, may be exactly why these bonds have proven sturdier than most industry friendships tend to be. It also means these friendships have had to survive something most friendships never have to navigate: direct professional competition. Chart positions, award show nominations, brand deals, all of it technically pits these companies, and by extension these artists, against one another in the eyes of the industry. And yet, somehow, none of that appears to have gotten in the way. If anything, fans have pointed out that watching idols from rival labels openly support each other, attending each other's shows, joining each other's dance challenges, showing up for family milestones, has become one of the more heartwarming recurring stories across the wider K-pop fan community. Not just Lisa's own fandom specifically. 3. A new chapter in acting, Patrick Schwarzenegger and Tae Thapthimthong. Lisa's third circle is the newest one, and it didn't exist at all until she stepped in front of a camera for the very first time as an actress. In 2025, Lisa made her official acting debut in HBO's The White Lotus Season 3, playing resort employee Mook, filmed on location in Thailand. On set, she worked closely with Patrick Schwarzenegger, who played privileged guest Saxon Ratliff, and Tae Thapthimthong, who played Gaytok, Mook's love interest in the show. The 3 didn't share a huge number of scenes together, but the bond that formed off-camera turned out to be far more visible than anything scripted. Just days after the season finale aired, Lisa took the stage for her debut solo set at Coachella 2025, and both Patrick and Tae showed up in the crowd to support her. Patrick posted a video of himself dancing along, joking on Instagram that he had a cocktail to blame for his moves, and calling Lisa's performance, "crushed it, worthy." Tae, attending his first Coachella ever, called her set incredible and perfectly executed. Lisa herself acknowledged the reunion on stage, telling the crowd, "For the White Lotus fans, you might be surprised to see Mook on stage. This is her when she's not working." The moment turned into something of a mini cast reunion. Lisa's Blackpink bandmate Rose was also in the audience and appeared to meet Tae for the first time that night, while Lisa's own mother was spotted alongside the group as well. It's worth being clear about one thing here. Since fans have occasionally speculated about it, Patrick Schwarzenegger has been in a long-term relationship with model Abby Champion since 2015, and the two were married in September 2025. His support for Lisa at Coachella, like Tammy's, reads exactly as it appears. A co-star showing up for a friend, nothing more. What's notable is how quickly this circle formed. Unlike her Thai idol friendships, which took years to build, this one came together over a single, intense 7-month shoot, and clearly left enough of an impression that it followed her all the way to the Coachella stage weeks later. It's also worth noting how Lisa has spoken about the experience of filming The White Lotus more broadly. In the days before her Coachella performance, she posted a reflection on Instagram thanking series creator Mike White for trusting her with the role, calling it the greatest honor to be part of the show as her first acting project, and expressing pride at being able to share her culture and showcase Thailand on a global stage. That context matters here. The friendships that came out of this shoot weren't just about two co-stars being friendly for the cameras. They grew out of an experience she's described as genuinely personal and meaningful, filmed in her home country, working alongside actors who witnessed that firsthand. That authenticity is probably why the Coachella moment resonated with fans the way it did. This wasn't a coordinated publicity appearance. It was two co-stars who happened to be free that weekend, showing up unprompted, the same way any friend might show up to support someone after wrapping a project together. It's a useful contrast to the other circles in this video too. Where her Thai idol friendships took over a decade to build and her Blackpink bond formed through years of shared training, this one shows something different. That Lisa seems just as capable of forming a genuine connection quickly, under intense, high-pressure filming conditions, as she is of maintaining one over 20 years. Different timelines, same underlying pattern. The relationships that stick around aren't the ones built for an audience. They're the ones built through actually spending time together. C. The fashion world orbit. Lisa's fourth circle is a little different from the other three, because it's less about personal friendship and more about the professional world she's built around herself in global fashion. Since 2020, Lisa has served as global brand ambassador for the French luxury house Celine, personally photographed by creative director Hedi Slimane, and later expanded into fronting the brand's haute parfumerie fragrance line as well. In 2024, she added a second major house to her resume, becoming a Louis Vuitton ambassador, joining a roster that includes fellow K-pop stars like Stray Kids' Felix and BTS's J-Hope. She's also the face of MAC Cosmetics, having become the first female K-pop artist to hold that title back in 2020, along with an ongoing partnership with jeweler Bulgari. It's worth noting that this world overlaps neatly with her Blackpink circle too. Each member now fronts her own fashion house, with Jisoo representing Dior, Jennie at Chanel, and Rose with Saint Laurent, meaning the four of them essentially make up their own informal presence across four of fashion's biggest names simultaneously. To be fair to what this actually is, these are, first and foremost, professional brand relationships, not confirmed close personal friendships in the way her bond with Bam Bam or her Blackpink sisters clearly is. Lisa has real, ongoing working relationships with figures like Hedi Slimane and Louis Vuitton's creative director Nicolas Ghesquière, built through years of campaigns and front-row appearances at Paris Fashion Week. Whether those relationships extend into genuine personal friendship isn't something that's been clearly confirmed one way or the other, so it's fairer to describe this circle as her professional fashion world orbit, rather than claim a closeness that hasn't actually been established. Still, this world matters to the bigger picture. It's the one professional circle where Lisa isn't just a K-pop star with famous friends. She's a genuine industry fixture, moving through Paris Fashion Week season after season, sitting front row at the same shows as the very designers whose houses she represents. It's also worth noting how this circle has grown over time, rather than appearing all at once. Her relationship with Celine, for instance, started informally back in 2020, with early campaign shoots before the ambassadorship was even made official, meaning by the time most fans learned the title, Slimane had already been photographing her for months. That slower, more organic buildup is a pattern that shows up across most of her major partnerships. Louis Vuitton, MAC, Bulgari, and even her home country partnership with AIs all followed a similar arc of gradual collaboration before any formal announcement. It suggests these relationships, whatever their emotional depth, are at minimum built on real, sustained working history rather than one-off endorsement deals. There's a broader industry context worth mentioning here, too. Fashion houses don't typically hand out global ambassador titles lightly, and they tend to hold on to the artists who prove genuinely valuable for years at a time, which is exactly what's happened with Lisa and Celine specifically. 5 years into that partnership, with a second major house now added to her portfolio, it's clear this isn't a brand chasing a temporary trend. It's an ongoing, evolving relationship between an artist and an industry that's found real, lasting value in each other. Put all four of these circles side by side, and a pattern starts to emerge: the decade-long loyalty to her Blackpink sisters. The 2-decade friendship with Bam Bam that survived 2 competing debuts. The Thai idol network she's quietly stitched together across 4 different labels. The fast, genuine bond formed on a single acting job. And a fashion world she's worked her way into as more than just a famous face. None of these circles were built for the cameras. Most of them existed quietly for years before fans ever pieced them together. And maybe that's the real through line here. Across every industry, every label, every country, Lisa seems to gravitate toward the same thing: people who knew her or came to know her before any of the fame got involved. There's something worth sitting with in that pattern. In an industry built on image and constant reinvention, the relationships that seem to matter most to her aren't the ones engineered for maximum visibility. They're the ones that simply survived contact with fame. One dance crew, one film set, one fashion campaign at a time. If this deep dive gave you a new appreciation for the people around her, hit subscribe for more, and let us know in the comments which of these friendships surprised you the most. Was it Bam Bam's 2-decade bond, the White Lotus reunion at Coachella, or something else entirely?